Hello YouTube, I'm back with a final recap and overview of our game of XNI's 1940 Global with the various mods we've been playtesting. Just to give you a look at what we did. So we played the second half of round 11. I believe that was so from the middle of US's turn, and we just wrapped up round 12. We actually didn't get to Italy's turn because Rick had to go, but I just kind of guessed what he would do, at least purchase-wise, and then I just threw down I went ahead and did my purchases and non-combat moves for Anzac. So just kind of give you a little overview. Here's the casualties from everything of that. Whoa. There's a couple more fighters in there. All right. So that's the death toll from this round, and other things changed. As you can see, there's a couple of complexes in there. This is a very interesting game. This has been a very, very tense, crazy game, but this is the state of Europe right now. American pipeline from Spain making its way into Italy, and France is back in the game and liberated. Actually, so I forgot to put the marker on the little turn tracker for that. But yeah, France is back in the game. Oh, so I didn't even do their turn yet because I also didn't think of it. So let me just do that right now. These French units would go into Western Germany to fortify because they get those 12 IPCs worth of units. So 4 infantry thrown down in France. So they go and fortify Western Germany a little bit, and then they get their money. We decided to call it at this point because Moscow fell. So it was the whole eastern front of this game. Rather than just a slog, or whatever you want to call it, of Germany plowing into Russia, it was a series of skirmishes. It was a lot more entertaining to watch, and it was a lot more difficult for the Axis player. But just for me as the Americans and the Anzac and the French and the Chinese on the sidelines, this was a lot more interesting to watch than your typical Eastern Front game that I've seen, where Russia is just buying infantry. Right away, he got improved mech right out of the gate, the beginning of the game. And then quickly after that, he got increased factory production. That's huge, but that's a huge ordeal. That's a huge deal for Russia. They still lost. We also had given them an extra strategic bomber, and we're giving them an extra 5 IPCs a turn, splitting up the national objective, basically using grasshoppers modified national objectives, basically. So for Russia, there's a national objective normally, where if this sea zone is clear, there's no allied units on Russian territory, and what's the other part? And they have Archangel. So we split it up like young Grasshopper does for his tournament rules cards. I think it's his Utah deck. It's either Omaha or Utah. I can never remember which is which. One's the main national objectives, and one is his tournament rules, alternative tournament rules, and there's a few other national objectives with that. Anyway, so we split that up. So it was 125, and Archangel gave them $5, and if there were no allied units on Russia, they would get $5. You know, of course, once they're at war. So we gave them a strategic bomber, and we gave them that, and it made this a hell of a lot more interesting, but eventually the skirmishes just gradually bled Russia dry of the tanks, and then he was able to find, and Germany had to just give everything. Rick had to give everything he had as Germany. Everything he had. It was quite the battle, ultimately. Normally, Rick would end up with a bunch of different tanks left over, not tanks, mech. But he lost all of his mech in the battle. So that was interesting. And Rick also kept being extremely lucky with his die rolls against the bombers. And like the last several bombing runs, Rick would get at least 1 bomber each bombing run and knock it out. He got, when the Japanese suicide attacked their strategic bombers, he knocked out both of them. One with interceptors and one with the AAA from the factory. It's crazy. There's my dog Huntley up there, a little cameo. Yeah. Okay. Gradually, as you can see, the American pipeline came in here. The UK liberated France. They also took Holland, Belgium. I forgot to throw a card down here, but yeah, so Holland, Belgium. We decided to change a little house rule. So rather than, like, you know how the French get their 12 IPCs, well, since we have the Dutch in the game, we have the 1 unit from the UK. We decided, just to kind of make any sense, so we have the 1 unit from the UK. We decide that if Holland, Belgium is liberated, like in an amphibious assault, that no matter what the state of this transports and stuff, that infantry is immediately jetted over here. So they just get 1 extra infantry, and he doesn't move. He stays in Holland, Belgium. So that's, you know, another little house rule. I'll tweak with our rules for our Dutch, just to have them included. As you can see, America also, with the units from Norway, I had previously, also, I don't know if I mentioned this before, previously I took Finland. That was round 11. Moving over here. So again, also all these territories. America had Morocco, so all these, and then Britain had these territories, this territory, and this territory from the Vichy France mod that we played. So that allowed, that gave Britain a bunch of IPCs, and they've lost that now that they have Moscow. Sorry, not Moscow, France. France is back in the game, so those territories get returned. Let's see. So because of what's going on over here and what was going on over here, Anzac had taken Java. So instead of sending his navy from here up to meet up with this one, he decided to take Java back overwhelmingly instead. No casualties. Anzac Navy once again wiped out, but I did have some new ones, and I bought a cruiser this turn. The UK was able to push in. Last round, the UK attacked West India, but was repelled. This time, they blitzed through West India and took out, because he had retreated his tanks from West India to Calcutta, they blitzed through and took it back. So UK Pacific is back in the game now too. Russia had liberated Sikang after the fall of Moscow. So we were finally able to get our little resistance house rule going. So they had an infantry in Kazakhstan. They used that infantry to take Sikang. So since Moscow's fallen, they get a free resistance unit they get to place in their homeland territory. He placed one in Turkmenistan. The Mongolian Soviet moved from Burantia to Saka, so he got another infantry, and he placed that in Kazakhstan. Japan is rearranging in China minimally. Mainland pretty wide open, but a damn good navy. He built up a huge navy, and there's just, now that all of his attention is here, even with improved shipyards, even with everything else I've had, and Iwo Jima was taken. Iwo Jima is heavily fortified. We got an air base and a naval base there now, so I can scramble. If he were to choose to attack next turn, I could choose to scramble the 3 Anzac fighters that are on Iwo Jima. And I think he would attack next turn. Maybe we'll roll this out later for funsies, but that is the state of things right now. Factory built in Alaska, built another battleship, destroyer, and carrier. Transport moved up infantry and mech. Yeah, more stuff on the way over here. Will it pan out? I don't know. But like I said, we got to call it. So at this point, just because of Moscow being fallen and the sheer number of tanks still left in Russia, he already told us he's gonna send them down to the Middle East. He's got all the factories. Britain took Caucasus and Rostov, but obviously they won't hold them. He's got all this air force over here. So this was one for the books. Obviously we were playtesting some new things. Overall, very happy. We definitely want to change something with the rules regarding to nationalist Spain, because when national Spain is, if Germany gets to 50 IPCs, and I can elaborate on that a little bit, but if they get to 50 IPCs and national Spain is automatically brought into the war, it pretty much, depending on the state of things, it pretty much just makes them a punching bag right out the gate. Spain didn't stand a chance because I had all this America stuff over here. So what we decided to do, or what I suggested, and Rick likes, maybe we'll playtest this next time, with a nationalist Spain. With a Republican Spain, I still say they join the war once Russia joins the war. I think that's fair. With a nationalist Spain, however, provided Germany is at least 50 IPCs, they can choose whether to attack or not. And if Germany's reaches the 50 IPCs threshold, they then get included in the turn order, provided Germany is at 50 IPCs. If Germany dips below 50 IPCs, they get out of the turn order. Only if they're not at war yet. So basically that allows nationalist Spain to do if they don't want to jump into the war and then be part of the turn order permanently, they can choose then to, if they don't want to get in the war, they can use their 7 IPCs and buy new units or save it and do non-combat movement within their territory and their neighboring sea zones. If they want to do that. But that would be the only thing they can do. So that would make it so that nationalist Spain is not as an easy landing zone for the Allies. Because if they invade nationalist Spain and nationalist Spain is neutral, it counts as a strict neutral. So it would activate all the other strict neutrals to be pro-Axis. So that was something we were thinking of doing. And I'm also thinking of maybe if they did invade nationalist Spain, then maybe Portugal would automatically become Spanish and the Portuguese colonies would automatically become Spanish, just to make it a little less tempting to do that. Maybe. I don't know. That's just an idea I came up with. I had to bounce it off Rick. But anyway, so that's what we're thinking of for next time. And then playing with Chile and Argentina as pro-Axis right out the gate, it's just I had taken Brazil as America, went to take out Rio de Oro because it was right when I took Morocco, and then I bounced back and I just took this is easy money, and then on top of that, like the naval base that's added there, it's just easy money. So that's an extra 6 IPCs America gets for the continent of Africa. UK did take control of the Dutch territory there when he was sending units down just for funsies. And Vichy France, overall Vichy France rule I'm very happy with. Not much to really change there. One YouTuber has commented so far and has incorporated it into his game. Ben Bertrand, I'm blanking exactly on what your last name is, Ben. Sorry if you're watching this, but a little shout out to you. He incorporated the Vichy France rule and changed it a little bit so that rather than Germany or Italy getting control of the money of those territories directly, they simply just become pro-Axis units, pro-Axis territory units, and then the French pool and resistance he included in. He said that his group found it to be a lot of fun, and they'll probably be incorporating that for the rest of their games, or at least most of them. So I'm really happy with that. I'm glad someone so far has incorporated something I came up with. So that's cool. Keep having fun with that, and that's I think it's something that's minor and doesn't screw up the game too much. I do like it that it's a national objective, so to speak, for Germany or Italy. So that they do get the money from these territories. In my opinion, that's because they're a puppet state and stuff. And then it encourages the Allies to take out those territories as much as they can right away. That's just the general idea. Now, the reason why nationalist Spain, just to go over this, the reason why nationalist Spain is activated at 50 IPCs, and we're definitely going to keep Chile and Argentina also being activated at those when Germany gets those IPCs, not when America. They shouldn't start off just pro-Axis, even though they were pro-Axis at the beginning of the war in a way, but they shouldn't be able to just get those. So the reason for that is in the Bloodbath rule set. In the Bloodbath rule set, they get activated and turn pro-Axis at 53 IPCs. When Germany gets to 53 IPCs, when they receive at least 53 IPCs, not from national objective money, but from once they get to 53 on the turn tracker, those become pro-Axis and the Allies can invade them, right? Well, it's 50 instead of 53 because of the Vichy France rule, because of the cost of southern France, and then all the territories gained from that. So the southern Spain gets activated if not including national objective money and not including Vichy money. So that was the idea with that. Anyway, moving on from there. Oh, and America took out Western Germany while the Italians were only defending it. I forgot to go over that. Yeah, so they knocked down that complex, so that's good. And like I said, Italy is next on the chopping block. Regardless of what happens, Italy's next on the chopping block. And I think I could probably be able to take them next turn. We'll see. Also, the UK took out the Kriegsmarine in 115. Yes! Lost one bomber in the process. Other bomber landed back in Norway. Let me get rid of that. Okay. That was my distance marker for the Kriegsmarine. Anyway, so yeah, overall, yeah, so as much headway as the Allies were making, ultimately this is gonna, I think, with what Germany can send over here and buy here now, I think he'll be able, even if he has to fix this complex, I think he'll be able to kick us off the continent. He has also Romania, the major factory Romania. Right away, he builds a factory in Romania when we started playing. So that pretty much covers it for Europe. I'm not sure how many tanks are there. That's a stack of 12 right there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, he's got 15 tanks in Russia, Moscow right now. Even with them being liberated, let's see. Then we got this down here. Anzac is an impressive fortress. I'm shocked that there's one Dutch still alive in Dutch New Guinea, so that's cool. Caroline Islands are held. Marshall Islands, I took out the Marianas this turn, so he doesn't have little landing zones to land at if he wanted to. He has to send units to, as distractions pretty much. Let's see. So yeah, look at what's here. He's got all 6 kamikazes still. That's what these are. He's got all 6 kamikazes. He has 4 aircraft carriers, 4 fully stocked aircraft carriers. He has 2 battleships, 4 destroyers, a sub. He also knocked out, we had a battle in 16. He knocked out my aircraft carrier that I had there and a few other things. He lost some destroyers. And then I had to take 16 back and kill 1 more destroyer. And yeah, he's just got a ton of aircraft, and right now I just can't push in there, and I can't make a bombing raid really. Just look how many fighters are there. Look how many fighters are there. There's 8 fighters on the mainland, 3 attacks there. Ah, geez. So yeah, ultimately, even though Allies did make a lot of progress, ultimately I think this is an Axis victory. If not, it's a fucking hell of a stalemate. So it is what it is. We could keep playing, but it could be just an exercise in futility. And I only have a 12-sided die, so we feel like round 12 is a good way to call it. So if you guys were watching this, or if you've stumbled across this and watched the whole thing, thanks for watching. If you've just been peeking in periodically, check back in again. Maybe I'll have something else that'll get you on board as a viewer. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, roll the dice better.